Hello students, we are going to discuss 15th lesson, establishment of the British Empire in India. So already you know, Britishers were ruled our country and we got the independence from them in 1947 August 15th after long struggle. So how the Britishers established their rule in our country we will discuss in the lesson. So Aurangzeb was the last powerful emperor in the Mughal rulers. Okay. So after his death uh, in 1707 CE, so many Mughal governors. So here governors means who are appointed by the Mughals to rule some areas. Okay, on behalf of the Mughals or subordinates, subedars, jamindars. So ascertaining their authority and establishing regional kingdom means they declared independence and they were ruled some kingdoms by themselves. So before Aurangzeb and at the time of Aurangzeb, so Delhi was the more powerful center. So most of the rulers were ruled from Delhi only, but now it became weakened. Okay, so at the time, uh, British traders came to India for trading. Okay, so British originally came to India as a small trading company. What is the meaning of trading? Trading means buying and selling of the goods. So they buy goods somewhere and those goods they will export and carry to other place and they will sell for higher prices. That is the meaning of trading. Okay, so like that the Britishers came to India as traders. So how they established their rule in our country we'll discuss in the lesson. So East India Company comes to east. So East India Company means one of the trading company belongs to England. Okay, so at the time there were different trading companies were there in British. So to avoid the competition between those companies, so the ruler of England, Queen Elizabeth, had given permission to East India Company to trade east side of that country. East side of that country. Okay, so means the only East India Company can do the trading east side, so no other company should go that side. Okay, from England. So these trading companies purely belongs to England and the England ruler Queen Elizabeth given a permission to East India Company to trade east side. Okay, so here these companies started trading in the east side. So this meant that no other trading group in England could compete with the East India Company. Okay, so no one should compete with the East India Company. No one have right to do trade in the east side. They can go other side. Okay, so with this charter, the company started trading across the oceans. So they were also looking for new lands for which it could buy goods at a cheaper price and carry them back to Europe to sell at higher prices. That is the duty of the East India Company. Okay, next, mercantilism. So here mercantile is a business enterprise that makes profits primarily through trade, through buying and selling of the goods. Okay, trading companies in those days made profit primarily by excluding competition so that they could buy cheap and sell at higher rates. So avoid the competition between the trading company. So England ruler given permission to East India Company to trade in the east side. Okay, like that. If there is no competition, they can buy the goods in a cheaper price. If there is a competition, the prices of the goods will be increase. Okay, that's why they avoid the competition. Clear? Next. So the Royal Charter, however, could not prevent other European powers from entering the eastern markets. So England is one of the European country. In European continent, so many other countries also there. So this charter cannot prevent other European powers to enter into the east side market. Any other countries trading companies can do trade in east side. Okay, next. By the time the first English ships sailed down the west coast of Africa, around the Cape of Good Hope, and crossed the Indian Ocean, the Portuguese had already established their presence in the western coast of India and had their base in Goa. So before Britishers, already Portuguese traders reached to India. Okay, so English ships also sailed down the west coast of Africa. So how they reached to India? So they traveled from England and they traveled around the Africa, crossed the Africa and entered into the east side of the India. Okay, so they sailed down the west coast of Africa round the Cape of Good Hope. So Cape of Good Hope is one of the place where they can stay at the time of traveling. Okay, at least they cannot travel long time. So that's why some days they stayed near the Cape of Good Hope near African coastal area. Okay, so before Britishers, already Portuguese established their presence or trade center in India near Goa. Okay, next. It was Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer who had discovered this sea route to India in 1498. For the first time, Vasco da Gama invented or discovered this sea route towards India. By the early 17th century, the Dutch, means Holland, too were exploring the possibilities of trade in the Indian Ocean. Soon the French traders arrived on the sands. So many trading companies came from different countries? Four. All these four trading companies belongs to Europe. One is East India Company, Portuguese Company, Dutch Company, and French traders also came to India for trading. Clear? Next. So the problem was that all the companies were interested in buying the same goods. Why they came to India? They came to India to buy the goods, but all these four trading companies wanted to buy the same goods. Means there was a competition between four companies to buy these same goods. So in India, we were having fine qualities of cotton and silk produced. Okay, and spices like pepper, cloves, cardamom, and cinnamon too were in great demand. So they came to India to buy cotton, silk, and other type of spices like pepper, cloves, cardamom, and all those. Okay, so for these goods, more demand was there in European countries. So The competition was inevitable uh, and pushed up the prices at which the goods were purchased. So, trade was carried out with arms, and trading posts were protected through fortification. So, there was a competition between four companies. That's why they were did um, they trade, and they carried with arms, means weapons, and they constructed forts to protect their goods also. Okay, so this effort to fortify settlements and carry on profitable trade lead to intense conflict with the local rulers. So, to improve their profits, to improve the trade, so these four companies started fighting with the local rulers also, local kings also. Okay, next, armed traders. So, because of competition, so all the European traders carried guns or arms. They maintained the military to do trade in India. So the English traders formed the English East India Company, and France formed the French East India Company. So like that, so both the companies fought against each other to improve their trade in the country and to capture the trade in India. To capture the trade in India, both the companies were quarreled. So each made efforts to drive the other ways. So they brought arms from England, and the French company also helped French trade, French East India Company in their fights. The kings of England and France also backed their respective companies and helped them in many ways. Why the countries backed their respective companies? So, because of these companies, they will get more taxes. Okay, that's why the companies also helped these companies in wars. So the companies acquired land in India and built their own forts to wage battle against each other. So slowly, what they did, French East India Company and English East India Company tried to acquire the land, okay, through gifts, or they bought the lands and they built the forts also. Next, the wealth that was accumulated in this way was one of the most important factors that enabled England to develop industries and establish their dominance in the world. So, with the wealth, so they wanted to establish the industries to continue the or to establish their dominance in the world. So, at the time, England, as well as European countries like Spain, Portugal, France, Holland, and Germany were acquiring colonies in North and South America, Africa, and Asia. What is the meaning of colonies? So, these European countries occupied different countries in different continents. Almost they occupied countries in North America, South America, Africa, and Asia. Okay, so they acquired the colonies. So the colonies contributed to the power and wealth of these European countries. Okay, means colony means here colonized. The European countries colonized the different countries, established their rule in other countries. They administrated other countries. That is the meaning of colonization. So those are the countries which are colonized are called colonies. Okay, next. The Mughal emperors as well as many Rajas and Nawabs began to realize how dangerous it was to let such traders maintain armies, build ports, fight battles, and use military force to establish their economic power in their kingdoms. So, in the beginning, these Rajas and other emperors encouraged the trading companies. Later, those were realized. So, if they establish their force, forts, and if they increase their military power, so it will be the danger to the local people. So they realized that. So later, the Mughal emperors, at the time Mughal emperors were very strong, so those were not allowed European companies to establish their power in their kingdoms, in their own kingdoms. Okay, so in fact, emperors Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb had fought and defeated the European companies on a number of occasions. So at the time, those were very strong. So that's why these European companies were defeated by our local rulers Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. Okay. So after the death of the Aurangzeb, so already we discussed. So different provinces or different governors so announced independent and became almost independent kingdoms. Okay, so at the time of Bengal, Awadh and Hyderabad became independent kingdoms, which only nominally acknowledged the Mughal emperor as their supreme. So most of these areas were ruled by the governors independently. What are those? Bengal, Awadh, Awadh means Lucknow, Hyderabad, so became independent kingdoms. So when the Mughal empire broke up into these small kingdoms, so these trading companies took the advantage and they started established their power. They took the chance and they started establish their power in our country. So though Rajas and Nawabs also wanted more trade and they also wanted to improve their military power with the help of the companies. Okay, next. For example, in 1764 CE, Nawab Anwaruddin Khan of Arcot, one of the area in northern Tamil Nadu, sent his army to fight against the French company. So that Nawab Anwaruddin Khan don't want to encourage the British traders. So he was sent his army against the French company. But in that battle, the Awaz Khan was defeated. Okay. However, to everyone's astonishment, the small French army managed to defeat the large army of the Nawab at the time. So Anwaruddin Khan was having big army, even though those were defeated by French company. So why? Because they have arms. The European traders became strong and they felt that after that victory, they felt that they could do whatever they wanted in India because of the strength of their armies, because of strength of their arms. Okay, so how the European armies or soldiers are different from the armies of Indian rulers? We'll discuss. Okay, why the small French army defeated the large army of Anwaruddin Khan? So why? Because the soldiers of European armies were better trained. Better trained. One. Second one is they are having higher salaries. They are having higher and regular salaries. So when they are getting higher and regular salaries, definitely the soldier will be committed. They also had better cannons and guns. So at the time they used the cannons and guns better. At the time Indian rulers were not that much good cannons and guns. The European armies held parades and drills every day. So army was busy with parades and drills every day. So even normal days also they do parades. But Indian army, so at the time of wars only they practice. Okay, they held parades. With this regular exercise, Indian soldiers enrolled in these armies also became quite skilled in battle. So like that, so these are the differences were there between Indian soldiers and European soldiers. What are those? One is those were better trained and they are having those were having higher salaries and regular salaries. Okay, next they had better cannons and guns, and the European armies held regular parades and drills every day and regular exercise. They had regular exercise. By this, those were better than Indian armies. Okay, next. Governing growing European interference in the kingdoms of India. Slowly, they started interfering to the ruling in kingdoms in India. So, by using their military power, military advantage, so they started earn their profits from trade. So, on many occasions, when they saw two Indian rulers fighting among themselves, when there is a dispute between the two rulers, so immediately these trading companies involved one side of the king. One side take sides and get involved in the fight. They would lend their army to one side to help them defeat their rivals. So they helped to one of the two kings in the war. But in return, the companies would demand and extract many trade concessions from the rulers. So what they did? First, they helped um, one of the king at the time of wars, and in return, what they expected? Concessions from the rulers. What is the meaning of concession? So, in the tax, in the prices of the goods, they demanded some facilities. So the rulers also gifted the companies large amount of money in return for their military help. So not only concessions. So the rulers, Indian rulers, were gifted some money to the trading companies in return for their help. This money helped the companies to increase their trade more and more. Okay, ante means here they got two types of benefits. One is trade concessions and another one is some money they were gifted. Okay, next, for example, Dupleix, a governor of the French East India Company, helped Muzaffar Jung to become the Nizam of Deccan, means in Hyderabad. So Nizams were ruled over Hyderabad at the time of Britishers. So Dupleix, a governor, helped French East India Company, helped Muzaffar Jung to become the Nizam of Deccan. In return, Muzaffar Jung gave the French some territories near Pondicherry. Territories means areas, villages, places. So Muzaffar Jung had given some territories to French company near Pondicherry and the town of Machilipatnam means Vizag, Fort area. He also gave rupees 50,000 to the company, rupees 50,000 to French troops, and rupees 20 lakhs and Jagir worth and 1 lakh per year to Duplex. So, in return, Duplex helped to Muzaffar Jung to become the Nizam of this area. So, in return, they got much benefits. So, more than 20 lakhs rupees and Jagir worth 1 lakh. So, means they can collect 1 lakh rupees per every year from that Jagir. So, this much monetary benefit they got from the Muzaffar Jung. Okay, so the companies also began to acquire small parts of the kingdom as gifts from the local rulers. So they would collect land tax from the villages and the towns in these areas, and they use the money for their trading activities. So what they did, so sometimes the kings were gifted territories or villages. So these companies started collecting taxes from their villages. Okay, slowly English company began emerging victorious over the French company in the struggle of dominance in India. So there was a competition between English East India Company, French East India Company. So later slowly the English East India Company won on the French East India Company. Slowly French East India Company move away from the India. So means only East India Company became strong and tried to establish their power in our country. Clear? So we will discuss next part of the lesson tomorrow. Thank you.